Okay, we are about 1 week away from Hamburg, 1 week from Friday. So this is my last real week of training. And something I really like to do in this process is make sure that I am reviewing everything that I've done. It helps really give me confidence about the training that I've done, and kind of affirms what I'm trying to do. So when I reflect back, I think about Chicago, where it left off for the World Championships, and how I finished there, which was 11th place, which is like fine. No one wants to get 11th place, regardless of like how competitive the field is. Just not like a result that I'm super pumped about, but the effort I was definitely happy with. My fitness I was incredibly happy with. So I just wanted to build on that and take time to build my aerobic capacity a little bit better, put in some specific work on the machines to build a more global fitness as opposed to just like running and HYROX. Now I feel like my fitness has expanded out a little bit more, making sure that my biomechanics are on point via different strength sessions, strength movements, moving from a broad strength program into a specific strength program, and then just the mental game. It's been a big part of this is having a new motivation, having that like really dialed in, and having like a deep connection with it, and then wanting to make sure I can run a race that it can be done through fitness or through grit. So I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot right now, but yeah, I like to review everything that I've done. So I'm going to go through it and make sure that I feel good about where I'm at in training, because it's just about it. I have one more quality session left, and then it's basically taper time, and we're headed to Europe to go race HYROX. So in terms of aerobic work, I wanted to put an emphasis here because last season after November, like I was basically just like chasing being as prepared as possible for the next event, which is really hard to do and get like better. It's good to like maintain and be able to be like race sharp. But I believe that like to really take it to that next level, you got to work on something and bring in a different level of skill or fitness to that next training block. And you can do that a couple different ways. And one of the ways that I wanted to do this time was with some aerobic training. So I wanted to get my aerobic training up. And the way to decide to do that was minutes, how many minutes of aerobic component work, and then having like zone 4 percentages of zone 2. So I ended up getting that as high as 620 total minutes of work that includes quality sessions. And that was about a month out. So it was about 5 or 6 weeks out from race day. And I made the decision to make that the peak based off of how I was feeling in training, how I was recovering. And it doesn't necessarily have to be one specific way or like just some certain kind of timeline. But for me, if I take it too long, if I just keep building and just like put everything in aerobic, I don't perform well on my quality sessions. But then when I pull that back to like just maintenance or even down a little bit, which is what I did this time, I like pulled that aerobic work down so that I could show up at the quality sessions and they would go better. It only took about a week for things to kind of bounce back, but there was a point where I was like, okay, I'm just not doing well in my quality sessions now. And it's because I'm doing too much. I'm doing too much aerobic work. And if I had more time, I could handle not performing incredibly well in these quality sessions, because I'm going to be building this aerobic capacity that will pay off. Probably would have liked to have another maybe 3 or 4 weeks to kind of build up, and even more is better, but I had to get ready for this race. So for a lot of my quality sessions, I was stacking a lot of what I had learned in the past year, where I had a bit of an epiphany for what works for me in terms of training. And it is just like building on zone 4 and just spending a lot of time in that comfortable and uncomfortable zone and creating a lot more like HYROX tolerance. And so I used like the very same principles and was a lot more broad further out. And that's when I used the ski, the row, and C2 bike a lot as a way to build a bit more of that broad fitness. Of course, the ski and the row are in HYROX, but the amount of fitness that you're building for the amount of work you need to do for HYROX doesn't always like equal out, right? But it does give a bigger capacity. It does build strength. It does a lot for you as an athlete. So I wanted to double down on the ergs a little bit more than I have in the past. So that was a key element, and I think that went well. It's not necessarily going to pay off huge dividends on race day in terms of what my paces are going to be, but it felt really good. And I was able to build up to that capacity where I was able to get up over like 95, close to 100. And that was kind of a marker I've used in the past in terms of minutes. So 100 minutes of zone 4 per week. And usually that's within 2 sessions. So 2 big sessions. And then those kind of taper off as well. I'm at the point now where I just need one of those per week and have it be like really big. And then the other day is going to be a little bit more like sharpening. So that's where I'm at on that front. And I think that has gone like incredibly well for me. And I'm really excited to see how that plays out in terms of race day. And one thing that I wanted to make really clear in this block was just like my mental approach. I can't just shy away from the discomfort that's coming. And I have done it in the past. There was races that I've qualified for Worlds before that were like really, really hard. And I haven't had to really go there the past year and a half or so. It's always hard, right? But there's a different level of when the reason you're doing it, the reason that I'm doing it, why that is so important for me. So that is something that's been really clear in this last block or so with the baby coming, with all the sacrifices that my wife has put in. Keeping that really close to mind in training has helped me do things that I typically wouldn't be able to do or would choose not to do, that I have always been capable of doing, but I would talk myself out of it, or I wouldn't want to go all the way to that place. And now it's time to go there, to couple this fitness that I'm building with this mental approach. And ideally that'll put me in like a way better spot. So having the mental piece like locked in and ready to go is something that I'm pretty excited about when it comes to how I'm going to show up on race day. In terms of my strength work, that's something that I've gone in a lot of different cycles with. And this time I try to play around with some faster velocity-based training and also coupling that with the plyometrics that I know do work really well. And this is kind of where the strength and biomechanics all kind of work together. And for me, I wanted to put a point on that so that I know that I'm moving well, that I'm breathing well, that I can be fast, for a sustained period of time, as opposed to getting stuck and just being slow in this grindy pace and just seeing like how long I can go like kind of fast for. I wanted to be able to be fast. And so that was my focus during strength. And then I moved that directly into a specific block where that I know works well when it comes to pushing the sled, pulling the sled, and doing all the other work like lunges and wall balls and building a base of speed, which in the past I would build a base of strength. I would build a base of volume and then, maybe put speed in at the end. This time I kind of flipped that so that I could train at a higher level of speed. And I think that worked. I'm definitely not necessarily stronger than I have been in the past, but I'm not weaker. And I think I'm faster. So I think that should play to my advantage when it comes to race day. So ultimately, this is in my hands. I feel like I've done everything that I could do. And this is the last time that I'm really going to have everything completely controllable. It's not a matter of I just work out when I want to work out. Life is going to change, right? So that was why I wanted to put an intense focus on this race. In terms of like pressure, there's definitely pressure. There's always going to be pressure. And that is just part of the game. In the past, I haven't responded that well to it, where I would not show up my best mentally because of pressure, and it's almost always self-induced. But over the past 2 years, year and a half, I've figured out ways to make myself feel much better. The ability to have pressure is kind of a blessing. It's a way to get more out of myself than if there wasn't any pressure. Performance on the day of, pressure might take it too far and might hurt that performance. But the preparation, and just like the everyday, the thoughtfulness, the going in to the training with an idea of this is for a purpose. And that purpose is what ultimately can make me feel pressure, because and especially in this moment, right? Like this is the last time. Doesn't mean I'm going to get worse after baby comes, but like it's not going to be as easy. It's not going to be as easy to train, right? So, and I know that, and that's been a fun thing to keep in mind. That like, hey, you might not have this opportunity again, so make the most of this opportunity now. I'm looking forward to when things do change, to see what challenges present itself then, what kind of pressure presents itself. But for this one, it's just going to be about going into it feeling as good as I possibly can physically, as resilient as I could be mentally. It's hard to know when you kind of hit that capacity, and just be a little bit more aggressive, but not stupid. And of course, keeping my why, keeping my wife, keeping the baby to come, and thinking about Rylan Shadag, who has just been such an inspiration. This is something that I'm going to carry with me into this race. So I can't wait to get into the event. And that's ultimately the thing, right? It's like, I just want to see what I'm capable of on race day. And I just want to see how this training went. Like that's ultimately at the end of the day, that's like what I'm doing this for, right? It's like, how did that go? What did that training do for me? So that's where I'm at the point of training now. So now it's just time. Appreciate you following along. Appreciate you, all the encouraging words. I feel really excited to go out there and represent for my country, for my family, for the RMR community. Let's do this thing.